So who are you?
Evangelos, Gilly, Safioleas.
So what happened last night?
Well, it just didn't happen last night. This goes back until last year in October.
So actually, let's just go to the events of last night and then we can talk about it after.
The events of last night. I was sitting in the chambers and the council meeting was about to start, and we all stood up for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Linda introduced all the city councilors, and then she said that it's Jim Oliveira's birthday, and they all clapped. And I said, you know, I looked at Linda and I made like a gesture. I thought there was no clapping. After the meeting, after that happened, the meeting started, and they were all talking about different issues. And what happened was there was an issue on the thing about the parks charging nonprofit organizations a fee and everything, the veterans, and they were really, all of them. I've never seen the city council so together. You know what I'm saying? They were all on the same page. They weren't arguing with themselves. That debate lasted between 45 and an hour. And as a matter of fact, Linda was giving all the councilors extra time. They usually have a clock there. And what happened was, at the end of they took the vote and everything, I stood up and I said, this is for all of you. And I clapped and I sat down. Nobody said nothing. Linda never said to me not to clap. Sat down, and the meeting went on. 2 or 3 motions later, they were talking about the drone. And Brian was real passionate about for the police to have it and everything. And then Dana Ribeiro, she got up and she started reciting the Constitution about it's not legal and everything. And I felt Dana made a good point about the people, you know, the privacy. So when she was done and sat down and they took a vote, I clapped like this. And Dana turns around and says to me, stop disrespecting my president. And I said to her, excuse me, didn't you guys clap for Jimmy's birthday? And then you could hear Linda saying, thank you, Councilor Ribeiro, and bang the mallet. And she says, you're out of here. And I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I've done nothing wrong. So she told Dennis to call the cops, and the cops came. And back and forth, and this has been going on. So it's got to come to a head, because it's my freedom to clap. I've been doing it for 25 years. Nobody ever said to me, you can't clap, until she became president. And the reason she did this is because she has a vendetta against me, because I was a big supporter, and everybody knows that. I supported her when she was Ward 1 councilor. I supported her up until October or November of last year, until how everything started was, there was a debate down at Gomes School last year in November, October or November, just before the elections. And I was the only one holding a sign for Linda. Me and her were the only ones holding, everybody was there with signs. Well, all of a sudden I see her going over and hugging Jojo Ford, because he was running for Ward 4. So when I seen that, I've always said that Jojo was a woman beater, because he went to court numerous times, twice because he actually hit a woman, but he never got prosecuted because the girls never showed up to court. So it was dismissed. But doesn't mean that he didn't do it, because the girls were scared when he did it. So what happened was, Linda goes over there and starts hugging him. So when she come back, I took the pin off that I had and the sign that I was holding, and I gave it to him. And she says, you're going home? I says, no, I'm all done. I'm not supporting you no more. You're hugging a woman beater. And her exact words was, quote, that's because I don't like Dana. I says, well, I like Dana. And she kept following me around and says, get away from me. And there was people that listened. There was a lot of people around us. So now this was October or November. She gets elected, and then she becomes president of the city council. On January 14th of this year, the beginning of this year, when she was president, the first meeting was January 14th. So now the meeting starts, and they were giving awards. Now they got rules there, I understand that. They were giving awards, and they had the artists They did all the windows up the north end during Christmas time and everything. They were giving him a citation. Now, one of the rules in that chamber is no hats. You have to take your hat in when you enter the chambers. Now, you have 10 artists up there. One guy's got a baseball hat on. A gentleman coming in through the chambers on the right, sitting there with his wife, his little daughter, and a hat on. And the gentleman filming the artist has got a hat on. The gentleman that was an artist went to the podium and make a speech. He had a hat on. Linda never once said to him, "Sir, can you take your hat off?" So now, a few motions later, I clap like you always do. I've been doing it for 25 years or 30 years. I've been going there since they used to carry Saltzman out with his chair. Nobody's ever said to me, "You can't clap." And I do not clap when they're talking. I clap when the motion's over, the person talking sits down, the vote's taken, and they haven't started reading the next motion. And I clap like this. Out of the mouth of Linda, President Linda, she says, "Mr. Safioleas will have none of that." Now, this was on January 14th, where there wasn't no rules. And I looked at her and I said, "No clapping." I says, "What do you mean?" So she said, "In other words, you're out." So I went like this and I sat down. After the meeting, I approached her. Well, not close, because Dennis Farias was between us as they were still sitting. We were a good 10 feet away. And I said, "What are you talking about, no clapping?" She says, "I don't want to talk about it." I says, "You don't want to talk about it? You got a vendetta against me because I threw you to the curb." I says to him, "The people were wearing the hats. You didn't say nothing. But when you were sitting in that chair, when you wasn't president, how many times did I clap for you? Did you ever once say to me, 'Gilly, don't clap because it's not supposed to be no clapping'?" You never said that. She never said that. But and that's the way everything started. The rules weren't made. She let some things go. They've clapped. People get appointed in the thing. They all get up and clap. I mean,
there was one other time I know that you got removed.
February.
You didn't get arrested. Why don't you talk about that?
Because when the cops came, they asked me to go outside. When we went out there, the officers were really nice and everything, and they said to me, "Well, they don't want you here." So I said, "It's fine. So what are you going to do?" So I says, "Well, it depends. Are you asking me to leave?" And she says, and he said, and in the office, there was 4 of them. The officer says, "Yes." I says, "Then I guess I'm going home." And I went home.
When was this?
Back in February or March of this year. But when I did go, I thought that I was violated, my constitutional rights, my free speech was violated. I called the American Civil Liberties Union, and I have a letter in the car that said they can't represent me unless they put trespassing papers on me or I get arrested. And I told them that I'm going to get arrested because I haven't done anything wrong. I've been clapping for over 25 years. So last night it had to come to a head. And if I was disrupting the meeting, why did I get arrested for trespassing?
Mm-hmm.
She's a very vindictive person.
So you had to go to court this morning.
Yes, I went to court.
How did that work out?
It's continued because I'm going to call the Civil Liberties Union, and I got to go back on the 14th, November 14th. But at the meantime, the Commonwealth now wanted the judge to not to go, that I couldn't go to City Hall. So when he said that, I said, "That's the Commonwealth." I says, "Your Honor, I was just going to, from here, I was going to go see the mayor." I says, "Linda Morad's got that much power that she can kick somebody out of City Hall? Doesn't that have to come from the mayor?" And the judge says, "That's a good question." So he says, "Let me have back that complaint." So he looked at the complaint and he says, "I'm going to rescind everything I said, but you still have to be here on the 14th, but don't get arrested in the meantime." So I said, "Your Honor, can I go to City Hall?" And he says, "Yes, you can." And the Commonwealth, the girl that was for the DA, she was a little upset. You know what I'm trying to say? I've done nothing wrong but clap. And I don't clap when people are talking. Okay? I mean, there's more talking in the chamber by all the city councilors when somebody's talking than I do. So now she's got that vendetta because I threw it to the curb because I was a good supporter, and everybody knows what kind of a supporter I was with her.
So you're going to go to any more meetings between now and
then? Of course I am. What? I got a right to those meetings.
You a bully?
Let me explain something to you. I stand 6 feet tall and weigh 260 pounds. And I got hands like a gorilla. Everybody's going to think I'm a bully. But I'm like a gentle giant. I'm always for the underdog. Okay? I picketed City Hall for 3 years because I was that much, you know, even when those monks that were walking by me were saying, you must really believe, snow, rain, everything. I'm not a bully. But with my size, everybody thinks I am. That's the thing.